What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com. Here are my DFS picks for MLB Monday, June 20th. These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for today's MLB slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, we have an 8-game slate tonight, so let's take a look at the pitcher position. So there's a few pitchers, well actually a handful of pitchers that are in good spots here tonight. I'll give you a couple of the guys that I like the most, starting off with Corbin Burnes. And he's pitching against a low-salary batting team, the St. Louis Cardinals. He pitches his best ball versus righty batters, only giving up a .526 OPS versus righties. And he's facing 6 righties here tonight. Now, the Cardinals have only hit 20 of his last 82 pitches. That's a .244 batting average. Pretty big sample size. Corbin Burnes is $10,800 FanDuel salary, and he's $900 less on DraftKings. Averaging 41 fantasy points per game on the season, has an ERA of 2.52, record is 4-4, and he's pitching an average of 99 pitches per game. And Vegas thinks this is going to be a low-scoring game, 7.5 runs scored in this game. That's their over-under. So I like Corbin Burnes here versus the St. Louis Cardinals. Now I also like Gerrit Cole pitching against the Tampa Bay Rays. Gerrit Cole pitches his best ball versus switch hitters, only giving up a .486 OPS versus switch hitters. He's facing 4 switch hitters tonight. The Rays have hit 35 of his last 135 pitches. That's a .259 batting average. Gerrit Cole is $10,300 FanDuel salary, 200 more on DraftKings, averaging 37 fantasy points per game on the season. He has an ERA of 3.33. Record is 6-1, pitching an average of 92 pitches per game. And Vegas thinks this is going to be a low-scoring game. Only 6.5 runs scored in this game. That's their over-under. So I like Gerrit Cole here versus the Tampa Bay Rays. Now the other pitchers I like, of course, Shane McClanahan. Although he's the most expensive pitcher on the slate, he's facing the Yankees. And the splits are not great here. He actually pitches his worst ball versus the Yankees, giving up his worst ball versus righties, giving up a .664 OPS versus righties, and he's facing 6 righties. But the interesting part about this is the Yankees have only hit 10 of his last 58 pitches. It's a .172 batting average. So although the splits are not perfect here, it looks like the Yankees have a hard time hitting his pitches, and he's averaging 45 fantasy points per game on the season, with an ERA of 1.84, record is 7-3, pitching an average of 89 pitches per game. Now he's $11,200 FanDuel salary, he's $900 less on DraftKings, and Vegas does think this is going to be a low-scoring game, 6.5 runs scored in this game. That's their over-under, but I do like Corbin Burnes and Gerrit Cole just a little bit more. To save a little bit of salary, but you know what? It's not too much of a salary difference, so all 3 of these guys are great picks. And then you got Max Fried, who is $9,800 FanDuel salary, and he's $300 less on DraftKings. And he's got a good matchup here versus a low salary batting team, the San Francisco Giants. He's giving up a .634 OPS versus righties, facing 7 righties. And what I like about this pick is that the Giants have only hit 9 of his last 43 pitches. That's a .209 batting average, averaging 36 fantasy points per game on the season, has an ERA of 2.9, record is 7-2, pitching an average of 94 pitches per game. So I like Max Fried here versus the San Francisco Giants. Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching. If you want to enter the drawing for $25 PayPal, all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won. And then we'll send you $25 PayPal. So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you. Okay, let's take a look at the catcher first base position. Let's see here. Couple of players that I like at this position. We got Matt Olson with a 20% batting advantage over Logan Webb. Matt Olson batting a .842 OPS versus righties. Logan Webb pitching his worst ball versus lefty batters, giving up a .699 OPS versus lefties. And Matt Olson is 3 for 9 with a 1.067 OPS versus Webb. One of those 3 hits is for a home run. He's $3,200 FanDuel salary, $1,200 more on DraftKings, averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored fantasy points in 4 out of his last 5 games. He has a batting average of .251, so I like Matt Olson here versus Logan Webb. And then I also like Rowdy Tellez with a 20% batting advantage over Miles Mikolas. Rowdy Tellez is batting 8% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .758 OPS versus righties. Miles Mikolas pitching his worst ball versus lefty batters, giving up a .695 OPS versus lefties. And Rowdy Tellez is 3 for 5 with a 1.867 OPS versus Mikolas. And one of those 3 hits is for a home run. He's only $2,900 FanDuel salary and $900 more on DraftKings, averaging 9 fantasy points per game on the season. He's also scored 4 fantasy points in 4 out of the last 5 games, and he has a batting average of .253. So I like Rowdy Tellez here versus Miles Mikolas. Okay, let's take a look at the second base position. This is one of my favorite picks on the slate. It's a value play. Take a look at Jonathan Villar with a 25% batting advantage over JT Brubaker. Jonathan Villar batting a .677 OPS versus righties, but JT Brubaker is pitching his worst ball versus switch hitters, 22% worse than his other pitches, giving up a .944 OPS versus switch hitters. And I like this pick because Jonathan Villar is 4 for 7. It's a .571 batting average and a 2.054 OPS versus Brubaker because 2 of those 4 hits are for home runs. And he's only $2,600 FanDuel salary, $600 more on DraftKings. He's averaging 7 fantasy points per game on the season, and he's been on fire, scoring fantasy points in all 5 of his last games. Has a batting average of .221. So I like Jonathan Villar here versus JT Brubaker. Okay, let's take a look at the third base position. Here's a home run hitter for you. I like Rafael Devers with a 24% batting advantage over Alex Fado. Rafael Devers batting 15% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .983 OPS versus righties. Alex Fado pitching his worst ball versus lefty batters, giving up a .886 OPS versus lefties. Now there's no at-bats versus Fado yet. Rafael Devers is $4,400 FanDuel salary, $1,300 more on DraftKings, averaging 13 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored fantasy points in 4 out of his last 5 games, and he has a batting average of .330. So I like Rafael Devers here versus Alex Fado. Real quick guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the position optimizer where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new player trends tool where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups. Okay, who do we have at the shortstop position? I like Xander Bogaerts, and he's batting against Alex Fado. Xander Bogaerts batting a .893 OPS versus righties. Alex Fado giving up a .809 OPS versus righties. No at-bats versus Fado. And Xander Bogaerts only $3,400 FanDuel salary. He's $1,700 more on DraftKings, averaging 11 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored fantasy points in all 5 of his last games, and he has a batting average of .337. So it looks like he's a little underpriced here with his matchup. So I like Xander Bogaerts here versus Alex Fado. Okay, moving on to the outfield position, I like Shohei Ohtani with a 26% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Kris Bubic. Shohei Ohtani batting a .779 OPS versus lefties. Kris Bubic pitching his worst ball versus lefty batters, giving up a 1.192 OPS versus lefties. Shohei Ohtani is 2 for 3 here versus Bubic with a 2.66 OPS because one of those hits is a double and the other one is a home run. He's $3,600 FanDuel salary, $2,300 more on DraftKings, so I love that FanDuel price. Averaging 11 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a batting average of .250, so I like Shohei Ohtani here versus Kris Bubic. Now I also like Ian Happ with a 20% batting advantage over JT Brubaker. Ian Happ batting a .783 OPS versus righties, and JT Brubaker pitching his worst ball versus switch hitters, 22% worse than his other pitches, giving up a .944 OPS versus switch hitters. And Ian Happ is 5 for 16. That's a .312 batting average. He's got a .791 OPS versus Brubaker, 2 doubles and 3 singles, but I like that batting average. And Ian Happ is $3,400 FanDuel salary, only $200 more on DraftKings, averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored fantasy points in all 5 of his last games, and he's got a batting average of .284. So I like Ian Happ here versus JT Brubaker. If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NBA slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.